Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing good today. This video may contain copyrighted images being used underneath Fair Use Act for educational purposes. Happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate it, and to those that don't, have a good dinner. All right, let's get started with Mark here. As I told you, I'm going to start out my videos with a little clip from Mark, and this is HBO Vice. I want to point out, for those that don't know, Vice, and I think even HBO, but I may be wrong, but certainly Vice is partially owned by Disney. All right. Mark obviously gets the asked the question is, who is the people that are deceiving us? And Mark in his flat earth clues starts out like, we're going to tell you the who and the why. And people have begun asking him for the last couple years, who are the people deceiving us, Mark? But he just continues to dance around that question. Here we are almost 3 years later. Let's listen to this buffoon.
I don't necessarily want to get into like naming. It's like, you know, is it the Illuminati or the Bilderbergs?
The Jesuits, the Freemasons.
Or the Trilateral Commission, or the Vatican.
The Zionists, NASA, of course.
Yeah, just another hit piece the media did. Oh, HBO made us look real good. That's what Carly Sunshine's trying to tell you. What a bunch of bullshit. All right, let's get started with Flat Earth Deceivers Part 5. As I told you, Rob Skiba is now an engineer and scientist, no longer a religious Christian pushing his religion. He's a scientist, folks. All right. They try to tell us they're not bilking this, and there's a lot of double speak in this video. And you're going to hear Rob Skiba's, I spent $2,500 on that experiment of my own money, left my family broke and kids without food. Who in their right mind's going to do that? That's a bunch of bullshit, Rob. Nobody's going to go to Lake Michigan and leave their family at home broke and spend the last of the money on a flat earth experiment. Get real. And I also want to point out, you didn't pay for it. Your YouTube subs did. You were on there before the experiment begging for money. And you even did a video when you got back home saying, woo, thank you for that gentleman that sent me the $1,500 because I spent my family's last $2,500 on the flat earth experiment and we were broke. No money for food or to pay the bills. What a bunch of crap. You didn't pay for it. Flat earth YouTubers did, Rob Skiba. I thought you were a Christian. Why are you coming on here lying to your own subs? Maybe they should start calling you out, the ones that paid for this experiment you did. Let's listen to these clowns double speak here.
You know, and every morning when you go to work, for all the haters out there, every morning when you go to work, you are going to work for money. You gotta pay the bills.
Right, but the question specifically was, are we paying salaries? And the answer to that is no, we're not.
No.
There is reimbursement, and there obviously will be fair rates paid, and not exorbitant by any means, because we're not about bilking.
There's no salaries. There's fair rate fees being paid.
Anything that's fair, and we will handle it responsibly.
No, you won't.
And not only that,
Absolutely.
we have to be transparent to the public, and we have no problem.
You don't have to answer the public. In fact, you said you're not going to. You're not going to tell us who's giving you the money, how much you're being paid, or anything else. You're going to follow your IRS tax forms and disclose the minimum you have to disclose. You guys have said this over and over, and you say it later on. Probably in part 2 or part 3, or excuse me, part 4. Bunch of bullshit. Let's keep going here. A couple minutes on this clip.
Being transparent to the public. But if people are going to demand this simply so they can say, oh yeah, you paid such and such this, I mean, forget it. It's not going to happen. And we're not going to play
accountability.
That game. So we will.
I can tell you that.
That's not being upfront.
Bob. Rob, how much did it cost for us to go across Lake Michigan just to get that on tape?
Shameful.
Well, I don't know how much it cost you, but it cost me $2,500.
Wow. There you go.
Between airfare, rental car, renting just the boat alone was something like $500, I think.
And then fuel.
With fuel, and that was like what 3-4 hours of hiring somebody to help us. But between all my personal travel expenses as well as gear, equipment I bought. I bought the Nikon Coolpix P900 specifically for that test. And
your YouTube subscribers paid for that. Quit lying. It didn't come out of your wallet.
At that time, it was like $600 or $700 just for the camera. Never mind extra batteries and SD cards. All said and done, it cost me $2,500 to do that. Yeah. And the balloon chasing stuff we did, the high altitude weather balloon stuff. Now, Victor absorbed a lot of the costs for the balloons, and primarily he paid for that stuff and the drones and all that stuff. But even still, my cost in doing that was at least $1,000 for me to get up there and fly up there and all that stuff. So, and I never asked for a dime from anybody. That was
You're lying. You lying piece of. You were on YouTube asking for money for these experiments. Quit lying your ass off. You're supposed to be a Christian. What utter nonsense. So anyways, they all go into, I need to get paid. I need to get paid. They ain't going to get paid salaries. It's called reimbursements. You see the lying and double speaking going on here? It happens all throughout this video. So, let's move on to Jaron. Jaron quit his job in 2009. And since he became a flat earther in 2015, he deserves to be paid for this. Why do these... Rob Skiba says he quit his job in 2010, which is a lie. He lost a lot of money. These guys act like if they quit their job, they deserve to get paid on YouTube. What the fuck? Let's listen to Jaron's nonsense here.
For the day.
All right. One thing I want to know about the money, receiving money, is I still find it incredible that in my 14-year career as a store manager where I worked for a drugstore that was giving people pharmaceuticals that they don't need.
I find it hard to believe that in 2009 he did 14 years as a manager. Jaron, when did you start? When you were freaking 18 as a manager at CVS? Huh? I mean, if I go find your age, I bet you the math doesn't add up. And I bet you were fired.
It's hurting their health. I never once had anybody in my entire life say anything about, hey, you're just going to work for money. I was making $90,000 a year. Then left voluntarily, started speaking the truth, and now a day doesn't go by where somebody's not saying, you're doing this for the money. When it's the complete opposite. I was going to work every day for the money.
You left your job. Rob Skiba left your job to become entrepreneurs on YouTube. And then you guys stumbled across Flat Earth and said, whoa, man, there's a lot of money to be made here. I'm on it. I'm all about money.
And I'm doing this because I'm pushing for the truth and I'm researching the truth. So it's just baffling to me.
You're pushing theories, Jaron. You've been pushing theories for the last 2.5 years, you and Bob. You even admitted it at the conference. Saying, woo, I'm glad for FECORE. Now I don't have to make shit up.
How the system stays the way it is when you have people who are allowed to go to work every day, work 70 hours a week to feed the beast, which is what I was doing when working for CVS.
Feeding the beast. No, you're doing that now, Jaron. That's why everybody's pissed off that you guys opened up a .org and set this up for federal funding. You are the beast. Who the hell do you guys think you're fooling? Let me tell you something, folks. That page where you can subscribe and pay 25 up to 100 and whatever it was, that's just a distraction. That's just to make you look like it's a bunch of independent researchers out there working for you. To make it seem like an independent organization that's funded by flat earthers. That's a freaking lie. They set this up the way they did, doing just what they had to do to get federal funding. And that's why they're not even mentioning flat earth. In fact, they laughed at me for calling it flat earth core. They laughed. in this video. I didn't play it, but Jaron laughed for using the words flat earth. Think about that for a while. And for those that are wondering what FECORE means, Fe on the periodic table means iron. So, iron core. Just what the Globers tell us what's in the fucking center of their ball earth. Let's see, do I got any more on this clip? Yeah, I do.
Which is one of the worst companies in the country. And now I'm doing things that are positive for people, and I'm getting emails from people saying, hey, thank you so much for this, and thank you so much for that, and for mentioning the rice experiment. I tried it myself, et cetera, et cetera. But now every day I get somebody saying what I'm doing is for money when I'm making 1/5 of what I made.
Yes. Okay. All right. So,
well, maybe you shouldn't have quit your job, Jaron.
Move on. We go through these questions a little bit quicker.
Okay. Yeah, let's move on here. Jaron gets a question here, and pay close attention to the words he uses, folks.
Okay. All right. So. Move on. We go through these questions a little bit quicker. Jaron, this one's for you, I think. And the question is: Are you going down the scientism road of corporate sponsors? Jaron has always said that this causes a conflict of interest. How would you respond to that, Jaron?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no corporate sponsors. We're looking for donations from people, but.
They're looking for donations from corporate sponsors and government and everything else. They say this later on in the video, and they said it before. See the double speaking and the lying here? Huh? Now pay close attention what Jaron says here, because they're considering taking money for a preconceived result, a predetermined result. Listen to this. They're going to have a board meeting. In other words, if the government says, hey, here's $5 million if you give us these results, they're going to consider it. Listen to Jaron here. It's the only truth you get out of Jaron.
I'm sure that the group would all get together if anybody ever said something like, hey, we need this research, but we need this result, which is what happens in reality.
Yep. That's what happens in reality in the B system that you all signed up for. They're just like NASA now. They're stealing our tax dollars under the pretense they're going to make our lives better. I don't care how old you are. If you're a 21-year-old flat earther, you're going to die before these guys make anybody's lives better other than themselves financially. Utter nonsense these clowns are. Utter nonsense. I think there's a little bit more nonsense Jaron has to say.
All the science that we have now is government funded, and the government is clearly at the behest of corporations and companies and bankers. So there's definitely conflict of interest there, because the science that's being paid for is corporation backed at the very highest level. So
just like FECORE is going to be. You guys ain't going to get no money from subscribers, from your viewers. Not enough to do anything. That's why you set yourselves up to receive federal funding. Do you see the utter nonsense of Jaron here? He's trying to tell you they're not going to accept corporate donations or grants or anything like that. But Bob obviously said something different. I'll tell you what. They're going to get most of their money from the government. The only money they get from corporations or billionaires or millionaires is going to be when a billionaire or millionaire or corporation's got some money they want to launder. And they'll give them a 40% split. And then that corporation or that millionaire will bill FECORE for the other $600,000. Say if they want to launder $1 million. FECORE will keep $400,000. That person who gave him the $1 million will use another company that's hidden, behind shell companies to bill FECORE for services rendered for $600,000. That's how money's laundered through these .orgs. Ain't nobody gonna give these clowns without no degrees money for research. Get real. Especially when they can't divulge who is scientists, if they even have any. All right. Utter nonsense. Let's keep going here because world records are going to be set. Let's listen to Iru here. World records are going to be set. Where have we heard this from before? I recall IPS saying world records are going to be set by Mad Mike Hughes. And Flat Earth name's going to be right beside it, and it's going to make history. Whoa! What a bunch of crap. Let's listen to Iru and this nonsense, these clowns.
And as you know, for the January laser experiment in Hungary, you know, we're going to live stream as much as we can from as many possible angles we can find. You know, we want our members to be there with us. You know, because it's going to be a huge, groundbreaking experiment. You know, it's world records is going to be set there. So yeah, we want our members to be involved. Yeah, the ones that are not able to come there.
So. Now, go back. They told you there's scientists and really high-ranking smart people that are involved at FECORE, but they can't tell you their name, that are going to be doing these research projects and so on and so forth. But they just invited the public outing their secret scientists. You see this shit don't make sense? Like I said, their business plan don't make sense. And now they want you guys to come to Hungary to help them on your own dime. Why, they pay themselves lucrative salary. Oh, not salaries, compensation. Sorry, Bob. I'll get that right. Trust me. Like there's a difference between compensation and salary. These guys are clowns, man. And you think they're going to make your lives better? You have some serious issues if you think these freaking clowns are going to make anybody's lives better other than theirs. They're going to work a couple days a week and live high off the hog and travel the world. That's what's going to happen. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that was all from well, a little bit more.
Directly. You know, they can view from the live stream on our website, and everybody here in Europe that has the means to come over and assist us, by all means, you know, that's what we are a group for, to do this.
You can't have outsiders. You're going to out your secret scientists that are going to be doing these experiments. You know what? I bet you there's no secret scientists. I bet you the people that are going to be doing these experiments are these buffoons on this board, not scientists. And it's going to be inconclusive. It's not going to prove flat earth or disprove it. Because if they did that, they would never get federal funding, federal grants. In fact, they'd probably get shut down real quick. They're just another flat earth society. Another NASA bilking you for your tax dollars. Let's listen to Bob here and pay close attention here. Pay real close attention to what he says here.
Yes, absolutely. And there will be several public events that the public is invited to observe and participate in even. So you know, those are things that we're going to try and be as actively involved with the community as possible, you know, and yet still keep certain controls on the experiment so that, you know, we don't get accused of it being a complete shamble.
Did you hear that? They're going to keep complete control of the experiment so you don't see it's a complete shamble. That's just what Bob said. Let me back this up so you can listen again. Pay close attention, folks. Remember, I pay attention to everything. I've listened to this whole video 5 times.
You know, those are things that we're going to try and be as actively involved with the community as possible, you know, and yet still keep certain controls on the experiment so that, you know, we don't get accused of it being a complete shamble, right? So,
yeah, man, you can't make this shit up. We want you guys to be part of it, but we got to keep control of part of it so you don't see it's a complete shamble. You all are shambles. You all are shams. Not sham cloths either. All right. This last clip. Now, I want to give you some background on it. I had somebody on part 2 leave a message on my channel, and they said, I was at the conference, you weren't there. The reason the paperwork for their 501c3 was sent back because they have to file as a 508. I haven't looked at what a 508 is, but Bob mentions this back probably in, I don't know if I covered it, but Bob mentions it that the lady says they don't have to file as a 508. But yet that person that was on my board said they did, and the paperwork was sent back. The 501c3 was rejected, saying they had to file for a 501 or a 508. But let's listen here and pay attention to Mr. Metatron, Rick Hummer, and his excuse for why the paperwork for their corporation just went out last week.
So, okay, so next question. Are you using voting funds metric to see which experiments are completed first? That's a good question.
This one. This
something we could think about, you know.
Brand new at this to search for.
Here we go.
And people, you have to remember, we are brand new at this. Like I said, we just barely got the paperwork off. You know, some people are already
they're brand new at this. Bob, you guys organized this a month ago. You had a month ago to get your shit straight. You know, you had a whole month to do research, Bob, even though you suck at it. Both you and Jaron suck at research because you guys did none for this video. And you're going to call it a strike back. I call it a failure. Let's listen to this now.
Brand new at this. Like I said, we just barely got the paperwork off. You know, some people are already trying to use these websites to search for it. And, you know, again, these are the groups that do not listen. And if anybody was actually paying attention, they would have heard Rick, you know, say at the conference that when he originally sent out this paperwork, he forgot to put the correct amount of postage on it, and it got returned. So technically, that paperwork wasn't even submitted until what, Tuesday of this week or something like that. Rick, is that correct?
It went out Monday.
Monday or Tuesday? Okay, Monday. Yeah. All right.
So do you really believe that shit? I mean, this is over what, 16 pages of documents they have to submit for a 501c3. A legal size manila envelope. Rick just puts a stamp on it, mails it out, and it gets returned. That's why they're saying their application was returned. But there's somebody that was at the convention that commented on video 2, part 2, that no, their 501c3 was rejected and the paperwork was returned and they had to refile as a 508. So somebody's lying here, and I certainly don't believe Rick Hummer in his, I put a stamp on a legal size manila envelope and mailed it out and it wasn't enough postage and it got sent back. Do you guys believe that bullshit? Anyways, there's too much info to cover in this to finish up today. So enjoy your holiday or your rest of your day if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And we'll see you all tomorrow for part 5. Have a good one.